Well, hello there, everybody. How is it going? My name is Robert, and thank you so much for tuning in today. Because we got some guitar playing to do, of course. What else do we do here? So what are we talking about? Well, before we get going, if you want tabs for what I'm about to cover, that link is down below in the description for you. You can also check out my free guitar course, the Fretboard Decoder, which is actually would really go hand in hand with what we're doing today with the pentatonic scale. That is focused more on the kind of like the major scale and stuff like that, but I think they would really complement each other. So yeah, so what we're doing is we're talking about playing our pentatonic scale in 5 new ways. Now, if you're the type of person who's, you know, predominantly kind of played their scales more like this, you know, or maybe just kind of, you know, stuff like that, I think these will be, you know, hopefully, you know, light bulb moments for you guys, where you're kind of like, oh, I didn't think about doing that, because I know when I learned some of these things, they really opened up a lot of those kind of like locked doors with the scales and playing them out of order to get more musical ideas, just lots of stuff like that. So I'm gonna quit talking and we're gonna go ahead and get started. So get your guitars and let's go. So example number 1. Now example number 1 is a very simple one to incorporate into your pentatonic scale, just because you're basically just playing the same thing. It's a trick, you know. It's just kind of like a fusion-y jazz kind of sound. I guess more fusion than jazz. But basically all I'm doing is I'm shifting up a half step in the middle of my scale. You know, there's no, like, to me, like, theory behind it. It's just basically to sound out to get the listener's attention, and then you bounce back in, and it resolves nicely. So that it makes that out part sound like you meant to do it. Because if you just go like this, didn't really work, but if I go, it sounds interesting. It doesn't really sound like the pentatonic scale anymore. So what I'm doing there is I'm alternate picking it all, but I'm just playing 5/8 on the low E, 5/7 on the A, 5/7 on the D. So far, this has all been straight up good old pentatonic scale. Now here's where it gets a little bit funky. I shift up a half step. I go 6/8 on the D, 6/8 on the G, okay? And then I go back to my normal pentatonic, 5/8, 5/8, and bend. Just go to an A note somewhere. But so I have just that little bit there livens it up. So listen to me, anyways. This sounds kind of boring. Like the scale, and then add that little half step. And you can do it more or less. You know, you can go kind of go, you know, well, I was getting kind of sloppy there. But that's just the first idea, you know. Take your scale. The shape isn't that much different than what you already know. And just simply move up half a step or down half a step. You can go down. And to me, it works. I enjoy that sound. It always gets my attention when I hear someone do that. All right, now next, we are technically playing a chord in this one. So when you know these chords and stuff like this, you can view it as a chord if you want to, or just the pattern itself is very powerful. I use this pattern a lot to outline chords, minor 7s, major 9s, all that kind of stuff where I'm... So maybe something like that. Now, what I want to do is, we're going to be down here in our box 1, so it's still familiar territory, where we've been rocking this whole time, and I'm going like this. Okay, that was sloppy, so I'm going to do it again. There we go. Now, what is happening here exactly? Well, basically, this is an A minor, and I'm adding my minor 7. So this turns it into an A minor 7 arpeggio. Now, what's nice is you have these A minor 7s all over the place in your pentatonic scale, so you can really utilize these. You know, everything I just played there were minor 7 arpeggios. So basically, I'm going to go like this: 5, and I'm using a hammer-on. I'm using a hammer-on. 5 hammer-on 8 on the low E, 7 on the A, 5 hammer-on 7 on the D. Now, I know that's like a fourth note, but it's actually just an octave. So we have an A, a C, an E, and then the G is our minor 7. So it turns us into a minor 7 arpeggio. I'm just going back to A there at this point. So it's 2 notes, 1, 2 notes, 1. Now that is simply just another C note, 5th fret on the G. Well, we already had a C here, still minor 7 arpeggio. Now I roll my finger down to the B and go 5, hammer on 8. Now that is simply going from that E note, which we already had an E, and I'm hammering on to a G note. Boom, another minor 7. So you can see how this arpeggio makes sense and fits perfectly in our pentatonic scale. And then the final note, I'm just getting a 5th fret on the high E string there, an A note. So, you know, and you can keep going if you wanted to. Other arpeggios, you know, stuff like that if you want. But for now, just start by doing that, you know, and it really breaks the scale up. You know, we're not playing it in order anymore, but looking for these chords inside of the pentatonic scale is a whole new way to kind of like dissect what you already know and add a whole new meaning to the notes kind of behind it. Number 3, that's the way to be. So this one is kind of tough. If you know, for stretching, it's tough. Now basically what we're doing is we're turning our good old normal pentatonic scale, which is typically a 2-note kind of scale, and we're turning it into a 3-note per string scale. And what this does is it gives us very big stretches. Now what makes it sound cool, I can't talk today. What makes it sound cool is, of course, now the intervals of the notes are further apart. So I like doing stuff like this a lot. So basically the lick was this. I'll play it slow once. Started to do another lick that I do all the time. But basically I'm starting right here, and I'll tell you the boxes I'm kind of viewing. So this is essentially combining 2 pentatonic boxes together at the same time, which is another really good thing to do. So I'm going to go 8, 10, 12 on the low E string. Now that's combining box 2 and 3 together. Now I'm going to shift up and stay on the low E, and I'm going to go 10, 12, 15, combining 3 and 4 now. So now the next one is on the A string. I'm going to go 10, 12, 15. So again, still 3 and 4. So now I'm going to shift up here, and I'm going to go 12, 14, 17 on the D. Now we've transitioned. We're combining box 4 and 5 together now. Now I do the same thing on the G, 12, 14, 17. Now I have to shift up a little bit here. I'm still combining 4 and 5. I go 13, 15, 17. There we go. And on the high string, it's 12, 15, 17. I chose to end it there just because I'm ending on a root. It's an A note. I would probably typically move up again, you know, and run it into something else. But just to get the general concept, get to where you can kind of play through this one. And then D. Oh, maybe. Play it so much better than me. That's my best tip. Play it better than me. Alright, so number 4 is kind of combining a couple parts from our major pentatonic scale. Now, because I'm using open strings on all 6 strings, which you don't actually have in your normal minor pentatonic, but when you mix them together, you do have both of them. So this is the lick slow. There we go. So with these, I messed it up a little bit there, but what can you do? It's rock and roll. So essentially, I'm moving through, again, I'm combining a lot of my pentatonic boxes together versus just sticking to one, like we were in the beginning. So I'm starting here in box 3, and I'm going to go 12, 10, pull off to open string on the high string. Now I like to do this technique a lot where I pick, pull off. You could do all pull offs if you wanted. Not real sure how I tabbed it out, but either one will work. Then I go to the B string, and it's 13, 10, pull off open. Okay? Now I'm going to shift down to box number 2 now, and I'm going to go 10, 8, pull off on the B. Okay? Now I go to the G, and I'm going to go 9, 7, pull off open G. Okay? Now I stay on the G, and I slide down to box 1 now, right at home at this point, and you're going to go 7, pull off 5 on the G. Okay? 7 pull a 5 on the D. Shifting down now to box number 4, or sorry, box number 5, and I'm gonna go 5-2 open on the D, 3-5 open on the A. Now here it gets a little bit funky. I added double notes in here just to make it kind of flow better. I go 3 pull off open on the A, then I play open again. Then I go 3 pull off open on the low E string, and then I play open A again, just to resolve it. So. So like I said, that's essentially I'm borrowing a few notes out of our major pentatonic scale, but you know, I have a whole video on that called "The Secret to Sounding Like Jimmy Page" if you really want to dive into more of that. And number 5, we are all the way up here. Hope my volume's on, right? And I thought this was a really cool way of playing through this. Now this is combining box 5 and box 1 of your A minor pentatonic scale, and we're playing very diagonally now. This is something I talk about with my students all the time, and essentially here is what we're doing. So we're going like this. So here is what's happening here. You notice I am doing kind of like a economy style picking through this one, and I feel like it helps out a lot with delivering the attack on the strings. So I'm all the way up here. I'm going to go 17 to 15, which is a pull off on the high string. Then I go to 17 on the B, and then 19 on the G. So there's that diagonal shape I keep talking about. All right, now we're going to move up and do the exact same thing on the B and the G. So I go 17 to 15 on the B, and then I go 17 on the G, 19 on the D. So we have... Now let's talk about the picking here for a second. I go down, pull off, up, up. And this is just what works for me. You know, you could alternate pick it if you wanted to. Now I'm going to go 17 to 14 on the G, which is a pull off, 17 on the D, and then 19 on the A. Kind of tough here. I picked the wrong guitar. This is not Les Paul friendly. There we go. So, and then the last part here, I altered a little bit because of not being able to reach the notes. And I'm going to go 17 to 14 on the D, then I go to 17 on the A, then 15 on the low E. It's the same note I would be kind of like reaching for up here. Then I get that 17 on the A, and that's just a root note. So you can move it down here if you wanted. You know, all kinds of ways to kind of incorporate this type of pattern. It sounds really, really cool sped up, and I think it's just a new way to kind of get us thinking about stuff. Well, all right, that is going to be it for us here today, guys. Hope you enjoyed that lesson. You know, it's pentatonic friendly. That's what I can say, you know. So hopefully it does open up some new ideas for you. But other than that, make sure you get the tabs, the fretboard decoder, all that good stuff. And I will be seeing you all on the flippity flop. Bye, guys. Woo!